Launched in May of last year, the Vauxhall Monterey is proving a strong challenger in a buoyant off-road market, one which has seen sales increase by a staggering 240% over the last 4 years, making this type of vehicle the fastest growth sector in the whole market. And it's not difficult to see why. Off-roaders like the Monterey, with their tough, rugged construction, good visibility and luxury features, look and feel safer than normal cars. They're also seen as being a lot more versatile than family saloons or hatchbacks, whether you're carrying around 7 adults in comfort or towing a boat, carrying a surfboard or a set of golf clubs. Off-roaders perfectly complement an increasingly leisure-oriented lifestyle. Since its launch 3.5 years ago, the Frontera, in both 3-door sport and 5-door estate versions, has achieved the remarkable distinction of becoming the second highest selling off-roader in the UK. And that's a popularity gain not just through looks and flexibility, but on a truly genuine off-road capability. And I don't just mean supermarket car parks. The Frontera has proved itself in some of the most demanding off-road driving conditions in the world, the icy wastes of the Arctic Circle. Last year, both Vauxhall Frontera and Monterey entered the Arctic Super Challenge. The challenge? To complete 7,500 kilometres in 8 days over the toughest terrain in Scandinavia, Russia and the Arctic Circle. Travelling against the clock, battling against 24 other competitors in temperatures which regularly fell below -35 degrees, the Monterey achieved a very creditable second place in its class. But the outright winner? The Vauxhall Frontera. The winning team beat Range Rover, Ford Maverick, Nissan Terrano, Discovery and more to take the coveted trophy. Now, not content to rest on these very impressive laurels, Vauxhall has taken the Frontera and made it even better. And here they are, the 1995 new generation Fronteras. Look quite similar, don't they? But under the skin, they're radically different. New engines give better performance, new suspension gives improved handling, and new brakes give greater stopping power. There's even a new immobiliser for added security, and more. I've been asked by Vauxhall to put them both to the test in some of the most trying conditions the UK has to offer, apart from the M25 that is, and this weather. Firstly, we'll be taking this new 5-door estate from our start point here in Dunkeld up into the rugged Perthshire countryside to put it through its paces on a tough off-road course. Then we'll be heading south to try this new 3-door sport in the vast tracts of the Scottish border country. It's going to be tough, but don't pity me, pity the people who've got to be my passengers, the crew. Now, the first thing you notice when you get inside a Frontera is the selectable 4-wheel drive, and that's not something you get on every off-roader. Selectable means that you can choose 4-wheel drive as and when conditions dictate, and it's as easy as this. For example, you might choose 4-wheel drive in ice or snow when you're on the road or in off-road conditions. For normal everyday use, simply keep the car in 2-wheel drive. That way you reduce friction, transmission noise, wear and tear, and you get a greater fuel economy. Now, the first part of my journey tomorrow is on main roads, so I need the car in 2-wheel drive. As soon as you get behind the wheel of an off-roader like this one, you know exactly why people get so excited about them. You get a fantastic view of the traffic and a real sense of safety and security as well. It's effortless to drive, with excellent power steering as standard. The cockpit's really well designed. I particularly like this new black trim. Although it's functional, it's really attractive as well. And there's a new tilt-slide sunroof option. Manual or electric, it's operated in exactly the same way as on a luxury saloon. Now, this particular Frontera estate has the very latest GM 16-valve 2.2-litre petrol engine. But there's also a powerful new 2.8 turbo diesel option. Whichever you choose, both deliver better low-end torque and greater economy than the engines they succeed. For instance, this estate with the petrol engine has a top speed of just over 100 miles an hour, yet has a 13% better fuel consumption. And more importantly, it has a 0 to 60 acceleration improved by a remarkable 26% over the old model. There's bags of power in reserve as well. The engine never seems to be straining at all. It feels very relaxed and incredibly responsive. Braking's been improved with discs all round and optional ABS, new for the Frontera, fitted on this particular model. And here's another Frontera benefit. It's easy to spot in a car park. The new larger 16-inch diameter wheels give improved ground clearance. These are the new optional alloys with 7-inch wide rims. And here's another thoughtful improvement. The spare wheel's now mounted on the rear door. And I know that in the morning, my Frontera is going to be exactly where I left it, thanks to Vauxhall's unique new engine immobiliser system, which comes as standard. It's an advance which more and more insurance companies are insisting on, and could help to minimise your insurance premium.
Well, would you, wait a minute, Evie? Take the butchers at that. Lovely jubbly.
And what do you think you're doing?
Oh, evening, Guv'er. I was just going to park your car for you, yeah.
Oh, right. Well, it's fitted with an engine immobiliser.
Oh, well, some you win, some you lose.
Now, to help me put the new Frontera estate through its paces, I've been joined by John Ayton. He's the director of Off-Road Masters and an off-road driving expert in his own right. Now, John, this is the first time you've seen the new Fronteras. As someone who makes his living from teaching people to drive off-road, what do you look for in an ideal off-roader?
A good all-round performance, a vehicle which is just as happy on the motorway as it is climbing a mountainside on a rough, steep incline. To achieve that, we need the correct combination of engine and gearbox, which will give us plenty of power and cope with the worst of conditions.
Right, well, let's see how the new Frontera estate measures up. Wish me luck.
The first thing we have to do is select four-wheel drive for the adverse conditions ahead.
What's the difference between high and low?
Low ratio gives you maximum power output at very, very low revs. So, in other words, it's going to give you power without wheel spin, hopefully.
Now, we're about to go through quite a large puddle.
The thing about water is not to attack it. Basically, it depends on the depth and the strength of flow. However, in principle, you don't want to throw it all about, as it were. You don't want to splash it up into the engine compartment if you can avoid it. If we see the ground going down, what do?
Change down.
Change down.
Maximum engine braking.
Correct. That's what gives you the high level of safety and control that you need in these type of conditions.
Right.
A lot of people say, I never drive off-road. One of the very, very important points to be made is that these driving techniques are exactly the ones which you require when you've got 2 inches of snow on the road. Go, go, go. Keep it straight. Go.
Yay! Ho-ho!
Keep it going.
That's pretty painless so far.
Yes. Well, the good news is the technique doesn't change even if the gradient does.
So, John, this new Frontera, how do the improvements seem to you so far?
The suspension on the back end is a major improvement. The rear suspension is now coil. Basically means that it will assist in keeping the wheels in contact with the ground as much of the time as is possible.
And what about pulling power?
Pulling power, the 2.8 is obviously an increase in cubic capacity over the current 2.3 diesel, and this is just bonus points all round in terms of power. More power at even lower revs, which means that adverse conditions like this are not a problem.
So far the new Frontera is doing pretty well then, is it?
Absolutely, yes. The existing petrol vehicle, it's a 2.4, whereas on the new vehicle it's a 2.2. Most people would think that they're losing the power to weight ratio. With the new type of engine that's being offered, you're getting less cubic capacity, but actually achieving more physical power output.
So when we're going down the hill, we need to keep the vehicle straight.
Yes, and most especially the steering. Once the angle of the vehicle is straight, make sure the steering is centred.
What would happen if we weren't straight and we're going down the hill? What's the danger?
The danger is that the vehicle will slide 45 degrees onto the slope, and the bottom wheels, the wheels lowest down the slope, will gain traction, and there's a danger of rollover at that point.
God, this is steep.
Centre the wheels and keep them there.
Well, John, you know the current Fronteras really well. Now we've had a chance to drive the new estate. What are your impressions?
Excellent. It's got much better torque, superb brakes and improved suspension. In general, a good all-round off-road package. There's positive handling and the driver feels much more safe and secure.
Thanks very much, John. I've asked John to stick with us for the second stage of our journey, south to the Scottish borders. And, like the stagecoaches of old, we're going to change horses to the new Frontera 3-door Sport. Now, whilst it's not quite as big as the estate, there's still plenty of room inside. This particular model's got the new 2.8 turbo diesel engine, but it's also available with a petrol engine, the improved 2-litre injection.
2-litre injection? Wow. Must have been a whopper of a needle. Yeah, wouldn't fancy that up the old...
I'm talking about the engine size. It's got 2 litres.
Litres? Sounds a bit foreign to me, yeah. What's that in gallons?
About half a gallon.
Half a gallon? Wouldn't get very far on that. I'd fill up at the next service station if I were you. Yeah. I say, no chance of a bit of a spin behind the old wheel, is there? Treat her exactly like I would my own. Except mine's off the road at the moment. I had a bit of a prang last week, yeah. Wow, the old tarmac disappears faster than Mummy's gin.
Yes, I'd noticed.
What's she like on the shortest distance?
Shortest distance?
Yeah, you know, the shortest distance between 2 points is a circle. No, it's a bus route. No, it's a...
Now, as I was saying, while the temperature outside is around freezing, inside the heater's working really well to keep the windows clear and free of condensation. Incidentally, not that we need it at the moment, but there's also the option of air conditioning on both the Frontera Sport and the Estate. Road holding on these narrow, twisting roads is particularly good thanks to the new coil suspension system, a system which this Sport also shares with the Frontera Estate. There's revised independent front suspension, new all-round gas-filled shock absorbers, and most importantly of all, new rear suspension that give much better ride and handling in extreme conditions. And the new 2.8 direct injection turbo diesel really does give you smooth power to overtake quickly and safely. So John, in Perthshire we were on a special off-road course. Now we're about to go off into 6,000 acres of remote countryside. So what do we need to remember in the wilds?
The first thing to remember is that every single square inch of the UK is owned or controlled by someone, and therefore you should only drive where you have permission. Seek permission first.
Right, okay, so once we've done that and we've got our green road or our track where we're allowed to drive, what do we do then?
Secondly, never travel alone. It's rather like walking in the hills. Always take a second vehicle for safety reasons. Never travel on your own.
I see. Now you've got some special equipment here that we need to take as well.
Sure, not particularly special, some of it. Basic essentials spares, maps, which you've planned your route on,
Right.
fan belt, power belt, fuel filter in case of waxing or very extreme temperatures,
Right.
air filter especially,
Right.
should it become saturated with water or mud. And basic essentials such as blankets, waterproof clothing and sufficient food and water should you become stranded.
Great. Now is all this really necessary?
If you're travelling over short distances and you're reasonably confident about access and the length of the journey, no. If you're travelling over much greater distances into wilderness areas, yes, I would consider it essential and I wouldn't travel without it.
Right, thanks very much, John. Let's go. dear, he doesn't look very friendly.
Hey, what you doing up here?
Sorry?
You couldn't get all the way up here in this wagon.
Pardon?
Nobody comes up here, and you couldn't get all the way up here in this Frontera.
I didn't quite catch that.
Hey, give us a shot.
Oh, it's great, man. Hey, she can pull an arm. Hey, this will do me nicely now the horse is dead. Oh, I got thousands of acres of mud and hills, me. Streams and ditches and all, and lost sheep. Trees to pull down, trees to plant, dikes to build, sheep to feed, fences to mend, dry cleaning to collect.
What did your horse die of?
Suicide. Bet she can show a clean pair of hills on the open road and all, you know. Aye, and it'll be great for driving to me meditation classes in Hexham.
Hark, the sound of approaching travellers.
Hello, Vicar. Is it safe to cross?
Hey, on you come. Hey, come on. Oh, ye of little faith. On you come. The water's lovely. Watch out for the fishes. Hey, on you come, that's right. Over you cross. Hey, that's it. Hey, you're all right. You're doing fine.
Vicar, I thought you said it was safe to cross.
Hey, well, it pays to have the right connections. Well, I really enjoyed that. I could easily get hooked on it myself, as owners and others clearly do, because Vauxhall has their very own off-roaders club, where people can go and do exactly the same sort of driving as I've been enjoying. Well, I've driven both Fronteras now on and off-road, and I have to say I'm very impressed by their versatility. They're just as at home in a rutted ditch as they are on a motorway. I like the high-up driving position, the roominess and the comfort, not to mention the sense of security you get. It struck me they might also make an excellent choice for fleet users or company car drivers because of their versatility and how comfortable they are to drive on the road. They're also very competitive in price, economy and resale value. So, whether you use your car for business or for pleasure, take a good look at the new Fronteras. I think you might find them a revelation on or off-road.